Now, I may not know you, but I venture to guess that all of you have the ingrained habit of brushing your teeth at least once a day as part of your daily living. Without that habit, your teeth would probably fall out and your breath may scare away most humans around you.
How's my breath today?
You could use a brush.
Okay. Habits like these really operate in the background of our everyday living, right? You don't get up and say, I got to go brush my teeth. You just do it. You don't give much thought to it. It's part of your daily routine. And today we're going to give you some tips on how to bring some other healthy routines into your life so that your life is better. I mean, that's the whole point here.
Really new healthy habits that you can ingrain in, because without control over your habits, you risk letting your mind and your body deteriorate. And over time, your life will get shortened and the quality of your life will definitely go down.
So we get pushback from people to say things like, changing habits is too time consuming and difficult. And I would say it's not. And we're going to show you today some steps and a surefire way to make sure that you can do that. It just takes a little bit of intention. I mean, again, think about when you walk into a room and you turn the light switch on, you're not thinking about it. All the steps when you drive a car, you don't think about all those steps.
Right.
We want to do some of that, some work today on how to help you bring some new habits into your life to make it better.
The other pushback that we get this from my pop actually, is old habits die hard. I've always been this way. And while that's true, all it takes is effort, discipline, and determination. And we just had a long conversation with him about that. So I hope he's watching.
Yeah. Now, if you're new here, I'm Mark, and this is my wife, Jody.
And we don't focus on the financial aspects of retirement, but rather lifestyle, health, relationships, and more.
We hope you like this video, and if you do us a favor, share it with others on the same journey with you that you care about so that they can learn from what you learned today as well. Now, we have a client up in Connecticut, and he's probably 62. He's retired. He's overweight. He knows he's overweight. Probably drinks a little bit too much, doesn't eat well, but he's starting to get worried about his health because his knees are starting to hurt. And he went to an orthopedic surgeon and to his doctor, and they both said, listen, you can have your knees cut open and replaced with great new stainless steel, state-of-the-art knees. But what we suggest you do is to lose 40 pounds first and see what that does.
And he really had a rude awakening because one of his very close friends, who's younger than him at 54 years old, died. And one of the biggest contributors was being overweight.
Yeah. So he needs to bring in several new habits to make some changes in his life. And we're working with him on that. And yeah, it's not easy. But he's now at the point where he sees a vision for himself that's different. He's not just going through life day by day,
right,
doing all of these bad habits and not having new habits to save him from really having a shortened life.
Or surgery or some other
right,
medical event that's going to trigger all of these changes.
Right.
Really, the idea from us to you is for you to take on these new habits and changes and really incorporate them in your life to ward off the potential of surgery or lifestyle medications
right,
and such.
So there's a download below before we move forward, the Health and Wellness Checklist. If you haven't seen this one yet, suggest you download it. It gives you a good overview on what you can do with all your doctor visits and how to get healthier and all of that. So download that one. But let's jump into what we want to teach today.
Let's jump in and be sure to stay till the end where we'll walk you through a couple of examples of establishing habits to build community and establishing habits for your physical wellness. These examples will give you a sense of just how easy it can be.
Right.
So the first thing you have to do is understand habits. Habits are automatic responses formed through repeated actions, like brushing your teeth, right? That was something that I referenced earlier. So the first thing you need to do is really define the habit. And the habit is made up of a cue, the routine, and the reward. And I think, who wrote Atomic Habits? James Clear?
Yeah.
James Clear wrote a great book called Atomic Habits, which really defines these areas. But let me give you an example.
You want to use my bad example? My bad habit. Here's a bad habit example.
So Mark will automatically grab for a cookie when he enters the kitchen. So the kitchen is really the cue for him to grab the cookie, and the reward is the sugar rush he gets.
Right.
He gets a little boost of energy, it tastes really good. But what's important is to identify those cues. Notice when and where you are when you perform the habit, either good or bad. And then analyze your routine. What exactly do you do in response to that cue? So, Mark walks into the kitchen, Jody now hides the cookies and puts out big, beautiful bowls of fruit.
Have an apple.
And then Mark grabs an apple. So again, we identified the cue, we analyzed the routine, and then we recognize the reward. What benefit do you have of having that apple over the cookie?
Oh, I'll take an apple. I'll actually make a process of it. I'll cut it with the apple core and I'll get some peanut butter and I will eat that instead of the cookie. The benefit for me is I don't get the sugar rush, I don't get that high, and I don't get the crash.
Right.
Because that's what happens after I eat a cookie is I immediately crash probably an hour later.
Yeah.
So we've changed the
whole process. Yeah.
So it's basically what we're trying to do here is have you understand how a habit works. There's a cue, routine, and reward. The toothbrush, you wake up in the morning, your mouth just tastes like crap. That's the cue. The routine is to brush your teeth, and the reward is
a nice
you
clean
have good
smile.
breath. Okay.
Right. So that's number one.
Right. The second thing is the foundation you need to build new habits. So building new habits starts with small incremental steps that can be integrated seamlessly into your daily routine. So we did a video recently on a morning routine. So get up in the morning, and if you want to have a new habit, is to get up and the first thing you do is drink 12 ounces of water. It's a really good thing to do. It's an important thing to do. If you're not doing it now, you need to do that.
So start small.
Start small.
Right.
And after that, you could spend 5 minutes reading some scripture, 5 minutes journaling, 5 minutes meditating. So the idea is to build habits. You do one, you do that consistently for a week or 2 or 3, and then you stack another habit on top of that. So that's how that works.
And really, consistency is key in that, right? Always starting with that one habit that then you build on.
Well, London University did a study of, I forget how many people. They did a huge study on what they wanted to find out was the average number of days it takes for someone doing a new activity, how many days it would take for that to become a habit. And for some people it was 10 days, for some people it was 365 days. But the average number of days for a person to do the same activity every day and then it becomes a habit is 66 days. And what happens is on the day after that, on day 67, 68, 69, it's harder not to do it than it is to do
Right.
it. It's like brushing your teeth. In the beginning when you were a kid, you didn't want to do it. Now you just wouldn't go out of the house without brushing your teeth unless you really forgot.
Right.
So
now the third thing to think about is the power of the environment in your habit formation. Your surroundings play a critical role in supporting or deterring your habits. So you need to really think about designing your environment. Like I'm keeping fruits visible. So when Mark is ready to snack, there's always grapes or apples or a banana or some sort of fruit visible.
And not cookies. We just don't have those
We
sweets
try
out
not to
anymore.
even have them anymore. But it's making the good habits obvious. Like things like if you look at our front door, there's always sneakers by our front door. We always have our walking shoes right next to the door. And as you walk past, you think, oh, maybe I'll take Ruby out for a walk.
We always lay our clothes out the night before so that we are inspired to go to the gym in the morning. If I have to go shuffling through the drawers to find my clothes while you're still asleep, let's say, it's not going to happen.
And it's the same thing for bad habits. Like for me, for example, when my daughter Maddie comes from Austin, she's a lover, because now she's a Texan, a lover of margaritas and Tex-Mex. And I'll tell you, a frozen margarita is a gateway for me to eat chips and salsa and guacamole and queso, and that's my gateway.
Right.
So I know when Maddie comes, instead of saying, oh yeah, I'll jump in and have a margarita, I need to change that up and say, yeah, I think I'm going to start with an iced tea, and then I do a little bit healthier after that. Right. So you have to really understand where your friction points are, create friction for your bad habits, but release it for your good habits.
Now, another key component of being able to bring new healthy habits into your life or getting rid of bad habits is the role of community and accountability. Trying to do some of these things on your own might work, But if you have a habit buddy or you get to join a group, and we're going to give you that example in the end that works for building community, it just makes it so much easier. I mean, say to your family, you know what, I'm a little worried about my health and I'm going to start walking 10,000 steps every day. And you can either post it on social media or you can text your kids, whatever you want to do, but hold yourself accountable and then celebrate. Let's say you do that for 30 days, 10,000 steps a day. You should throw a little party for yourself.
Well, it also gives other people motivation, right? So
Sure.
our kids are deep in their careers, and every morning after I text them, I always say off to boot camp or off to ladies golf or off to yoga, and you'd be surprised at how many times they write back, good for you, mom, I need to do the same, or I need to make time for that, or so you're also motivating others.
Well, if you follow us on social media, the business and personally, we do post a lot of things like that. Like every morning I'm at the gym at 4:45, and at the end of gym, the person that runs the class always wants to take a picture. Well, I always take a selfie of myself and
your crew.
And my crew behind me, my community behind me. And I post that every day, and it inspires me, it inspires them. So that's, just doing that with other people really can help a lot.
Now, the next thing is really finding a way to break bad habits. Breaking a bad habit requires understanding of its structure and consciously replacing it with a more beneficial one. It's up to you to really identify your triggers. Me and a frozen margarita, for example.
Right.
Notice what prompts you from kind of going off the rails. A frozen margarita, not gonna lie. But you also have to plan for your cravings. If you're craving a snack, have that healthy snack available, like we're trying to do with the fruits. I would love to do fruits and vegetables, but we really haven't gotten there yet. And replace it with a good habit. You often see a lot of people chewing gum instead of smoking. It's just keeping their mouth active instead of grabbing for a cigarette when they're trying to quit that bad habit.
My longest standing bad habit, really bad habit, up until the age of 50 was biting my nails.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you can see them now, but legit, since I had teeth, I bit my nails halfway down to the cuticle. I mean, they were, every other day I'd get blood drawn because I'd peel this thing back with my teeth and rip it right out. I couldn't stop. And I tried everything. My mom tried painting stuff. She tried
the bitter taste
everything.
Stuff,
It just didn't work.
You tried a rubber band.
A rubber band. Every time I felt the desire to bite my nails, I'd snap the rubber band. But I finally was able to do it. And I got it down to where I was not biting 8 nails and I just left 2. And then I only left 1. And then finally after time, what I did was I had 8 or 9 nails that looked really good. And actually started getting a manicure except for the one little fella. And now I don't bite my nails anymore.
Yeah.
I don't. And it took me 50 years to break that habit, but it can be done.
I mean, I remember when they were really bad, and I would say to Mark, when you're going to shake someone's hand
awful.
And your nails are disgusting or dry, and you're in sales, I mean, you gotta stop biting your nails.
I used to try to hold my glass like this when I was at a function. I can't
because
even do it.
it was bad.
I mean, it was terrible. So anyway, the other thing you want to do now is you want to track your progress and adjust course if you need to. So you're bringing new habits in. You've stacked a few of them. I stopped biting my nails, whatever it is. You're having your water in the morning. Just monitor how it's going. And if you're having trouble, then fix it. For instance, if you really want to go to the gym 5 days a week, or let's just say 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you skip Wednesday, then you only went, you skipped a lot of time.
A third of what you wanted to do. 33% out the window.
You can use a habit tracker app. You can do a journal. Again, post it on social media.
Accountability partners.
Yeah, but see how you're doing. And if things aren't working, what do you need to do to make yourself do better at going to the gym or riding your bike or stop biting your nails or stop eating cookies? So it's okay if it doesn't work at first, but you always want to adjust if it's not working.
Okay, so the next thing is maintaining new habits for the long term. Long-term maintenance of habits requires integrating them into your actual identity. I'm going to let that land. Long-term maintenance of habits requires integrating them into your identity. They actually have to become who you are. What is your vision? Mark's vision is to be physically independent at the age of 90. So every day when the alarm goes off or he naturally wakes up at 4 a.m., he's off and running, off to the gym, drinking his water, doing his things because he has that vision in his mind.
And that happened this morning. This morning the alarm went off, so I could have probably slept through to 6, and I don't even know what that's like. Maybe I would have woken up at 4:10, but the alarm went off. I turned it off, looked at my phone, see what time it was. It was 4 o'clock. And I lay there for a second and said, I just should go back to sleep. And I said, no, because you want to be physically independent at the age of 90. That got me out of bed to go to the gym. And I didn't really want to go to the gym, but I went anyway. So the reward for that is I got home and I feel great. I felt great and I feel great.
And I think the important message here is to really integrate this into your identity.
Right.
See yourself as a healthier eater, a more hydrated person, a happier person, a more motivated person, a person that walks every morning and every afternoon. We have a couple that lives down the street of us, Mark and Diane, and they are well into their late 80s. Every night in Florida, regardless of the season, so I'm talking all summer long as well, they find a way to walk 2 miles. And she said to me, sometimes, Jody, in the heat of the summer, we have to do that at 11 p.m. But we set our alarm and we get up at 11 p.m. and go do our 2 miles. We are not going to not do our 2 miles. It's just who we are. I was so impressed with that.
Yeah, they're walkers. If you say to them, what do you do in your retirement? We walk a lot. That's their identity. This idea you said about identifying yourself as a healthy eater, that's such a better label than someone who's dieting. I'm trying to lose weight.
Right.
We don't go to the gym to lose weight. We don't eat better to lose weight. We don't do a lot of things to lose weight, but you know what's happening? We're both losing weight, but not losing too much because our muscle's building. But we're identifying ourselves as people who want to live and be physically independent at the age of 90. Now, sometimes people say, how does this really work? Let's give a couple of quick examples. So we have a client who wants to start a habit of hiking. She likes to be out in the nature. Let's call her Sarah. So she wants to bring nature into her routine of walking. So if we look at the habit loop for her, the cue for her is feeling the need for physical activity and mental relaxation every weekend. So her routine's going to be to plan a Saturday morning hike in a local park or nature reserve, and her reward is feeling rejuvenated, enjoying the beauty of nature, and it's going to improve her fitness.
And then the second thing is, she has to establish the habit. Start small. Begin with short, manageable trails. Gradually increase the difficulty and the distance. And then the second thing is, we tell her, be consistent. Commit to hiking every Saturday morning. I mean, if it's pouring rain, you have a monsoon, something happens, move it to Sunday, but commit to doing it on a regular basis. And then celebrate your wins. I did it 4 times this month. I did it 8 times this quarter. I did it 12 times this year. Whatever it is, celebrate your small wins.
Okay, and then you need to have the environmental setup. So for her, it would be setting out the hiking clothes and the shoes the night before. Are there any barriers in the way? Like if she chooses a trail that's far away, and then she might not go because of the travel time. So reduce any kind of barriers, like choose a trail or a park that's near your house.
Right.
And if you want to make your good habits obvious environmentally, post a scene and send it to your kids. Put it as a screensaver on your cell phone or on your computer to stay motivated that that's what you're going to do, or put a picture of it on your fridge.
The fourth thing we asked her to do is, think about community and accountability. Find a buddy system. We asked her, is there a local hiking group nearby to meet fellow hikers and find new trails? Share your progress with those people. Look for inspiration and look to be the person that gives inspiration.
Right. Now, how does she replace bad habits with this? So let's say Saturday morning, she typically would get up and just watch TV for 4 hours. Now she's doing this. So she reminds herself of the post-hike rewards and the feeling that she gets. And also, if she's in this group, she can read testimonials from the hiking group about the benefits of hiking or do some research on that. But using mindfulness techniques during her hike also keeps her engaged with the nature and makes her feel great. So you want to again, replace your bad habits with something good like this.
You know, my mom used to do this thing, with candy, because my pop, we used to call him Candy Jimmy. He always had candy. So it was hard for my mom to not just have the bad habit of jumping in and having it. And she'd always say to herself before she grabbed something, I know how that tastes. I don't really need it today. Like that was her way of stopping that bad habit of, I know what an M&M tastes like. I really don't need to have that today. But Candy Jimmy was always dropping candy out of his pockets. The sixth thing that you can do is use some sort of fitness app or tracking app to really track your hikes and your progress, and then review your goals monthly to see how you do. And that's what we asked her to do with either Strava or one of the apps that actually tracks your path.
Well, Apple Watch does that, or Oura Ring does that. Your cell phone does that now. Listen, getting one of these, Oura Ring, a ring like this to track your steps and activity really is a good idea, because then it tracks it automatically for
Right,
you.
that's true.
So, how do you keep this thing going long term? So we said to her, after a month of consistent hiking, buy yourself a new pair of hiking shoes.
Right.
Buy a new outfit.
Set up a reward.
Get excited about, maybe do it on your own for a month and then join the group. But have some different levels and rewards as you go on, and then maybe take a walking wine tour in Europe, because we were invited on one of those once.
We were.
And you walked,
in
I don't know.
Italy, I think.
You walked, my sister-in-law just did the
Camino Trail.
Yeah, Camino Trail. She
in
walked
Spain.
How many miles a day?
100 miles in 10 days.
Yeah, 10 miles a day. So that would be a great reward.
Right.
So anyway, this client, Sarah, we're working with her on trying to do this thing. Why don't we give an example? Who's that guy that we...
An example that isn't physical wellness.
Yeah.
Because I think we've kind of beat that one up.
So Linda. Linda is trying to create a new community. She lives by herself. She's a solo retiree, and she's lonely. And she wants to get more... She wants to create a community. So she's understanding her habit loop. She's lonely in the evenings. So she decided to attend a local book club once a month, right? And she is now enjoying the good conversation and making new friends.
And then the second thing she did was she established this as a habit. She joined the social event once a month, and then she was consistent. She started scheduling events, around that. Her weekly grocery shopping, stopping by to see a friend, dropping off, flowers at the old folks' home. Mm-hmm. She really then started to establish the habit and then build on it and then celebrate the wins.
So she needed some kind of environmental setup to make sure it happened. So she sent alerts on her phone. And she also put signs up in her house. Don't forget book club. It sounds ridiculous, but it's not. If you're celebrating this the whole time that you're in your house or your apartment, it really is helpful. And she's actually been able to cut down on evening TV to make room for reading the book, which is really helpful.
The fourth thing she did, which we didn't think of, she actually came up with, was she invited a neighbor to join her at events. So, her socialization started even before she got to the event, because she brought a friend into the event. And then she decided she would host some events. So she even took it one step further, and instead of going to someone else's house, she moved some of the book clubs to her house to be able to share her environment and, kind of be proud of where she is and continue to meet people on a different level.
Right. Now, she had a bad habit of watching too much TV. Because she was lonely at home, she was watching too much TV. So this one night out a month, plus the other meetings she has in between with her friends, has helped her limit the amount of TV she's watching, which really, the average number of hours that people over the age of 65 watch TV in retirement is 38 hours a week. That's just not healthy use of your time. So she's been able to replace that bad habit with the new habit of joining the book club.
Now, this next one, you might say, sounded great in physical wellness, but with relationships or building community, does this work? We asked her to track and adjust, what she was doing with her community and building community, to really find ways to monthly review, weekly review, whatever works for you. What worked for her was a monthly review on how many events she actually went to, and write down a little something that was really enjoyable about the events and the connections she made.
Well,
and it's hard to do that when you're talking about a community. I mean, it's easy to do that with the gym or the distance you're running or the hikes you're taking. But, if you look back over a month, how many valuable relationships were made or enhanced during that month?
Well, I want to use your golf as an example. When we got down here in October, you said I'm playing golf in the women's league every Wednesday? Mm-hmm. Every Wednesday.
I didn't know one person.
Didn't know one person. So that started in October, November, December, January. You've been doing it for like 4 or 5 months.
Right.
And it's funny because you'd come back and you're always meeting new people. And I said, how was it? Yeah, it was fine. It was there. But you didn't have any follow-up. And then it ended 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And all of a sudden you're getting all these text messages from these other women that say, hey, it's over, but let's still play golf. And you this past week played twice.
I did.
And you were invited to 2 people's houses to have conversations. And all of a sudden now, after 6 months of this, you've now got 3 brand new, really deep relationships as a result of that.
Yep. And if you're listening, girls, I'm going to miss you.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll be back.
So you can't give up either. I mean, that's the other thing. You've got to put some effort
Right.
into this book club to
make it long term.
Yeah. So again, long-term maintenance is really important. Just keep going. Make some friends out of it. Make it part of your life.
By understanding habits and taking some of these steps, you can build lasting friendships and enrich your retirement. Start small and be consistent. Open yourself up to new experiences regardless of your age. The joy and support from new friends, I can tell you, is well worth the effort.
So start today by adding one small habit you want to change. Remember, it only takes 66 days. Seems like a long time, but you've got your whole life ahead of you. So spend 66 days repeating that new activity until it becomes part of your daily routine. Now, I hope you liked this video. This next one, how to have a happy retirement, we outline a 4-step process to picking the healthiest habits that you need in your retirement. So watch this one next.